Michigan. I want to thank you for attending the webinar today. A couple housekeeping things. Everybody is on mute. The presentation is being recorded. We'll share this out with everybody at the end. We will take questions at the end of the presentation. So if you have questions, please type them into the questions section there, and we will get to them at the end of the presentation. And we will share out this slide deck and other valuable information at the end. Again, my name is Troy Baker. I'm the Educational Foundation Director for the Better Business Bureau Serving Western Michigan. Also presenting today is Brianna Anderson. She is the Community Outreach Coordinator for the Better Business Bureau Serving Eastern Michigan and the Upper Peninsula. And Kathy Fitzgerald, who is an Assistant Attorney General at the Michigan Attorney General's Office. I'm going to start by turning things over to Kathy to get into the first scams that we're looking at. Kathy?
Good morning, Troy. Good morning, everybody. Federal stimulus payments. Who hasn't heard of this? It's been in the news literally every day recently. And with that, of course, are coming scammers that are trying to get their hands on that money or your personal information, or sometimes both. This slide has 4 takeaways to remember, for you to remember, that can help you to avoid getting scammed. But you know what? Rather than go any further on this topic, I'm going to turn it over to Attorney General Nessel herself. She'll tell you how to spot scams involving the stimulus payments and so to avoid getting taken.
Hi, everyone. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel here. Now, just before COVID-19 forced us to all stay at home, my office kicked off our latest consumer protection initiative called AG Scam Jam. These Just Ask Me sessions would be an opportunity for my office to speak with and hear from residents all across the state on consumer protection issues. Now, we had plans to be on the road this spring, but obviously those plans have now gone by the wayside. But since we all have to stay at home and stay safe, I thought I would take a moment to remind all of you of the numerous resources the Michigan Department of Attorney General provides in consumer protection enforcement, and to share with you some tips to avoid becoming a victim of the various scams out there. Since the federal government recently confirmed that stimulus payments have started to be sent out to those who qualify, today I wanted to make it very clear that scammers are actively working to obtain your personal information while leading you to believe that you'll get your stimulus payment faster. So please hear me out on this. If you receive a text, an email, or a phone call from someone claiming to be from the government with a check for you, please do not fall for it. These fake phishing scams will likely ask you for your bank account information or more and insist $1,000 or more will be deposited directly into your bank account. So how can you be sure a call, text, email, or direct message referencing a stimulus payment is a scam? Well, pay attention to these important signs. Firstly, any request for payment. There is no upfront payment, fee, or charge of any kind in order to receive the stimulus payment. You will not be asked to pay any money, including a processing fee. Anyone claiming to be from the federal, state, or local government asking for any payment is an imposter. So do not respond to any type of contact asking for a payment of any kind. And remember, only scammers will ask you to pay to receive stimulus money. So please do not fall for it. Number 2, any request for personal or financial information, the government will not call or text you to verify or to ask you your social security number, your bank account, credit card number, or any of these things in order to release the funds. So do not enter your personal or financial information in response to an email, text, or web page appearing to look like it's the federal government. Only scammers will ever demand that you provide your personal information, social security numbers, bank account numbers, debit and credit cards, PIN numbers, or any of that in order to receive stimulus funding. Number 3, any offers to help you apply for the stimulus payment. Now, there is absolutely no application process in order to receive your stimulus payment. Payment will be made automatically by direct bank deposit or a check mailed right to your home. Anyone who asks you or tells you that help is required from them in order to apply for this money is absolutely a scammer. Number 4, any grant offers related to the stimulus payment. Now, bad actors may leave messages requesting personal or financial information in exchange for so-called immediate stimulus money through a grant or for confirmation of identity to receive the funding. In different variations, scammers might promise additional financing beyond the designed stimulus amount in exchange for a small payment or personal information. Well, let me tell you this, there is no grant money. So remember, no action is required for you to obtain your stimulus payment. Someone contacts you claiming to be from the government, demanding that you take some sort of action, hang up the phone, delete the email, or report the social media message as spam. Visit irs.gov for the most up-to-date information on stimulus payments. And remember, the Michigan Department of Attorney General's consumer protection resources are always available by visiting mi.gov/consumer protection. So that's it for today, but I'll be back for more on AG Scam Jams soon. So stay safe and thank you.
Okay, Kathy,
Yes.
you continue here.
Okay. The video wasn't showing for me. I guess it wasn't for you either. I'm sorry about that. The takeaways here, though, are that you don't need to do anything for most people. The federal government already has your information. So do not give your personal information to anyone, nor do you need to sign up for or help signing up if someone approaches you asking that. Remember, the IRS is not going to call you or contact you by text or social media asking for your personal information. The most accurate and up-to-date information on the stimulus payment and specific instructions should only be accessed through the IRS website called irs.gov. Any personal information that is required to be submitted to get the stimulus payment, and that's very limited, should only be made through that website. Scammers are reaching out to people trying to get personal information, bank account numbers, things like that. Any outreach like that is a scam, and you need to ignore it and don't respond. Price gouging. Consumer complaints to the Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division regarding price gouging have skyrocketed since March. As of April 20th, we had received 3,731 consumer complaints. That is an awful lot. They involve in-demand products like hand sanitizers, face masks, cleaning supplies, and various food items. So the question often raised is, what exactly is price gouging under Michigan law? And the Michigan Consumer Protection Act defines price gouging as charging the consumer a price that is grossly in excess of the price at which similar property or services are sold. Doing so is a violation of the Michigan Consumer Protection Act, which the Attorney General has enforcement authority over. The other source of Michigan law regarding price gouging is the Governor's Executive Order 2020-53. That order bars price increases of 20% or more from the price charged on March 9th. There is an exception if the increase is attributable to a cost that went up bringing the product to market or to an extraordinary discount that was in effect on March 9th. This particular order is currently good through April 15th, and who knows if it'll be extended. We'll have to look and see. Report price gouging to the Michigan Attorney General's office. Consumer complaints are a vitally important source of information that we use in enforcing price gouging laws. So at the end in the resource packet will be the phone number and website address where you can report it, and we appreciate it hearing from you on that. Next slide, Troy. There we go. Fraudulent health products. This is another scam that's growing out of the COVID-19 crisis. Often they're in the context of scam websites that are claiming to sell things like face masks or other COVID-19 related products. You know, these online stores may look legitimate, but a closer look shows that often the prices are inflated, or on the flip side, the prices are just too good to be true. There's often fake or no business contact address. Sometimes scammers may even impersonate the CDC, World Health Organization, or claim certification or association with other government agencies. What are often being pitched are these bogus products that say they can treat, prevent, or test for COVID-19, when clearly they cannot. An example involving a case that the Attorney General took enforcement action on was something called the Defender Patch. This was a product that claimed to help the immune system to defend itself against exposure to the virus and help lessen the effect of the virus if you already have it. Cost $49.95. Sometimes and other times the products that are being pitched are counterfeit or mislabeled, especially by example in the sale of what are purported to be N95 face masks, but are actually a lower grade, poor quality mask that does not provide the level of protection that a bona fide N95 mask has. The health risks to this are obvious. The Attorney General has taken 3 actions involving mislabeled masks since April 16 of this year. The message: be cautious, be skeptical. Always check out both the product and the company before you're pulling your wallet out to buy a COVID-19 related product. Thank you, Troy.
Thank you, Kathy. We are going to now move on to Brianna, who has some more on fake phone calls and phishing emails.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing that pertinent information, Kathy. Those were great slides. I'll continue going on and talking about some more scams that are really affecting consumers right now. So fake phone calls, phishing emails, and phishing texts have always been a big scam. But with many businesses switching to working from home, it is even more important for employees and employers to look out for these scams. You may get a text message or an email that looks like it's from the US federal government, but it's actually not. The messages may claim that there are some free COVID-19 testings, but they want your personal information, your credit card, to ship these items to you. Never trust an unknown phone call, email, or text right off the bat. Do your research first. Scammers tend to follow the same playbook for these scams. They urge you to click the link, share your information, or download an attachment, which typically contains malware. They prey off uncertainty that is surrounding us right now. They know unemployment is up and people are looking for financial relief. They know that travel plans are getting canceled and people want a refund. These are professional salesmen and they understand their target audience. Think twice before you download anything, especially if it's an attachment from an anonymous sender. Some tips to avoid these scams are, especially for robocalls, you can actually have your cell phone provider send all unknown numbers straight to your voicemail. So then you can, when you receive a voicemail, you have some time to truly think about, is this an urgent phone call or is this some type of scam or ploy they're wanting me to act on? Never click on anything from an unknown sender. Like I stated earlier, if you do click on it, it can download a lot of malware device to try and get identity theft. So make sure you do not download anything, and then ignore instructions to stop or say no to future texts. Some key that I didn't realize is by replying, the scammer now knows that this is an active phone number. So if you do receive a text from an unknown number or it looks like a government agency, don't reply stop, don't reply no, just don't reply at all. If it sounds suspicious, make sure you call the company directly. Don't call, sometimes emails or even phone calls will say, call this number back, and they're saying they're from this government agency. instead of calling that number back, call the actual agency and make sure that this is a legitimate phone call or email you're getting. And then lastly, just be very careful of generic emails. This actually happened to Eastern Michigan BBB just yesterday. We received a very generic email asking us to renew our partnership. And after looking in and investigating and doing some research, we found out it actually was a scam. So these are pertinent scams that are happening right now to a lot of our consumers and even to us. So just make sure you're aware and that you're taking time to actually research any unknown messages that you receive. Next slide. I'm having trouble going to the next slide. Troy, are you able to? Perfect. Thank you so much. So next we're going to talk about some SBA scams. Small business owners are getting hit hard with a lot of information right now. They're making tough decisions on how to survive during COVID-19. They're getting emails from every direction. There are local, state, and federal government relief programs. They're shifting through advice on how to keep employees, how to maintain a safe work environment, and how to manage working from home. With all these messages floating around, and then you include social media advertising and phone calls, businesses are getting, it makes it very easy to mistake what's real and what is actually a scam. A business may receive an email, a text, or even a call with a caller ID that appears to be from the U.S. Small Business Administration or even an attorney claiming to help. We know that SBA is offering grants for small businesses, so this may seem reasonable, but once they apply for this loan and they're approved, the business owner is now asked to pay a processing fee up to $1,000. There's also a new twist to the scam. A business may receive some sort of communication from a government agency about a new grant, and then shortly after, a friend will reach out to them saying that they received this grant and it has a lot of great benefits and they were able to receive a lot of good information and money to help their business continue. The issue with this is there's been a lot of scams happening that scammers are taking Facebook and it's actually becoming compromised, and businesses will more likely trust their friend, and scammers know that, so they've been trying to get into people's Facebook's accounts or get a similar email so that when you receive a grant and then you hear from a friend that it's worked for them, it sounds great, you're more likely to take advantage of it even though the Facebook account is actually compromised. So no matter how convincing the idea sounds or how much money they are offering, make sure that you're very aware of the grant. Some good helpful tips is that look for websites that actually end in .gov. Websites and emails that end in .gov, I should clarify. If you receive an email saying this is a grant or a loan, it doesn't end in .gov, definitely try and research that, look it up a little bit more. A tip would be to actually go on the company website and see if you see that grant, and even hover over the email address or any links that you see in the email to see if this is a legitimate site or if the email looks a little bit off. And also, just so you know, government agencies tend to not communicate through text or social media, such as Facebook. So if you do receive any requests through Facebook saying that they're offering a grant, it's most likely not coming from a government agency. And then another tip would be that there's no such thing as a free government grant and then they make you pay a fee. If any grant, SBA, any loans that you're applying to, you should not have to pay a processing fee. They ask you to pay a processing fee, it may be a scam. You can check SBA's website for the most updated information, and that can help you decide whether you know what you want to apply for and what is legitimate. Next slide, thank you. So BBB has receiving several reports from seniors saying that they're asked to take mandatory online COVID tests in order to receive their stimulus payment, which is just not true. These schemes often manifest as someone is trying to impersonate an agency, a government entity, a police officer, making it look very intimidating and very real. Seniors aged 65 and over reported losing a median of $350 last year while this doubles across more age groups. So seniors actually have lost double the amount of money according to other age groups. So that's definitely something we want to make sure we're aware of and that we're conscious and letting know any elderly folks in our lives about these scams. So a lot of scams that have been happening is they say there's this miracle product that can help protect you from your home and from these diseases that are happening around us. The issue with this is there's no FDA approved drug right now on the market. And seniors know that they fall in one of the categories that COVID could really affect them. And they don't want to get sick. They don't want to have compromise their health. So they think, oh, this would be a great thing for me to take advantage of. If this is saying I won't get sick, it's claiming that I'll be okay. They think this is a great opportunity, but actually there's nothing that FDA has approved that's on the market. Another twist to this scam is that scammers know senior citizens and they know their love and willingness to help friends and families in need. And scammers will actually impersonate the grandparents' loved ones. They'll make an urgent situation up and plead for help and money. Something that we notice is that a senior may post on social media saying that their grandchild is in town and they're so excited they can't wait to see them. And they may not have their privacy settings on. This now makes them victim to a scam. A scammer can go online and see that their grandchild's coming in town. They can call them or email them, text them, say that I got in a car accident or I need money right now. My car broke down. Don't tell my parents. I don't want to get in trouble. I'm embarrassed. Just please wire over the money and then I'll come up as soon as I can. This is actually them taking advantage of their willingness to help. If anyone calls you, don't be afraid to contact their parents or a loved one and just ask, does this situation sound right? A lot of senior citizens are actually more likely to fall to scams because they're in an isolated area. So make sure that if you feel like you're getting a scam, don't be afraid or embarrassed to reach out and just ask someone, does this sound legitimate? Make sure you don't act urgently. The scammer that will have you on the phone will act like, I need this money now. I'm in a really bad situation. If you don't help me out, I don't know what I'm going to do. But you do not want to act immediately. Take some time to really think about if this is legitimate, if this is actually coming from a loved one. And make sure not to wire money if there's any doubt about the phone call. And I think, Troy, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Brianna. I appreciate that. The next scams we want to talk about are phony websites. The Better Business Bureau has seen this increase significantly over the last several years, and especially with coronavirus. Beware of offers found on social media. Just because it is an advertisement on social media does not mean it's legitimate. So oftentimes we get scams or complaints that start with the words, I saw it on Facebook. So be very wary of offers you find on social media. If you are buying products online, we're not buying stuff in store as much. We're shopping online. So if you are buying online, buy things from websites you know and trust, sites that have a good track record. So when you're out there, you see something on social media, you see something from a website you don't know, take that information and look for that same product on a website you know. You're going to get the product, you're going to get it on time for the right price. Be suspicious of testimonials, especially celebrity testimonials. Often they're so easy to impersonate. You simply take a photograph and make up a quote. And celebrities have really been fighting back the last several years about this, and it's happening more and more. And then it's already been mentioned by Kathy and Brianna, but any offers that claim to cure or treat COVID-19 really need to be treated with skepticism, because that's not where we are in the process of COVID-19 right now. When it comes to charities, lots of nonprofits are looking for help. We did a study with the Wise Giving Alliance that looked at nonprofits, and 90% were concerned about their funding for the year based off of the economy that we're looking at right now going forward. So charities are out there and they are looking to connect with donors, but we want to make sure that you're using the right tools to pick the charities you're giving to, and you're doing it wisely and safely. So anytime somebody calls you or emails you about a donation request, double check who that is. If you have any questions at all, go find that nonprofit yourself. Go to their website, call them, talk to them about what they're doing and what their needs are and how to donate to them directly. BBB, our Wise Giving Alliance, has give.org, where you can look up a charity and you can see what kind of information they share about their governance, their board makeup, how the money is used, so that you can get the information you want to make sure that you're giving in a trustworthy way. And be wary of GoFundMe requests. These are very good for helping in small situations, but there's not a lot of oversight as to where that money goes. So if somebody creates a GoFundMe and says, I'm going to give the money and raise the money for this topic, it's hard to guarantee that that's where it's going to go. So you're often better off giving to legitimate nonprofit organizations who take the steps to register with the Attorney General's office and go through the nonprofit registration process with the IRS to become a 501c3 or one of those other organizations. Whenever there's a donation request, use caution and make sure that you're giving money to the people you want and it's going where you expect, because any money you give to scammers doesn't go to the people who you intended it to go to. And then here's one that is near and dear to the Attorney General's heart, I know, business email compromises. You'll look, there's a photo here. This is an email that actually allegedly came from Attorney General Dana Nessel to her staff just last month. Somebody had impersonated the Attorney General and sent an email asking for them to go buy gift cards. And anytime somebody asks you to go buy gift cards, it is probably going to be a scam. So any kind of emails you get that don't sound right, they seem a little different, should be treated with skepticism. Urgent requests from staff members need to get an extra look. And when in doubt at all, double check. Send an email directly. Don't hit reply. Send an email directly to that person. Call that person. In the past, it was easy to just walk down the hall and talk to them if you had a question. Most people are not in a situation where they can do that anymore with social distancing guidelines. So pick up the phone, send a direct email. If you're on a chat feature like Slack or some of those other features that allow people to connect in a chat environment, ask through that. Don't just reply and believe emails, especially if they're asking you to do something that's unusual for your job situation. So on a positive note, how can you support businesses in your community? Some of the tips that we have out there: if you're shopping with somebody, take a rain check, buy a gift card to use later, make agreements to do work when things open up. The government sounds like it will start opening up in slow steps, so maybe start talking to businesses about what you can do as things are okay. Shop locally and online, and if you're ordering food, get that takeout or delivery. And then if you're short on cash, what can you do to support businesses? Write an online review. Find those businesses that you've used and you like and share your experience. Share those good stories about businesses that are doing things the right way, and make sure you communicate with them. The more you connect with businesses and each other the right way, the easier it's going to be to avoid scams when they come calling, because you know how that communication is and who they are. If you do come across a scam, or you want to know what scams are out there, bbb.org/scam tracker. Last year, the scam tracker helped people avoid more than $40 million going to scammers by people coming to the website and seeing the offer that they have was reported as a scam. So you can report scams to the scam tracker. You can see what else is reported. and lots of scams are coming in. Just this morning, we had one, a romance scam, where the person lost $80,000 to a scammer overseas as part of a romance scam. These scams that have been out there for a long time are still happening, and they are modifying those scams to in some way relate to COVID-19. So we really want people to be up to date on what's happening in their community, but also report what you find. I will tell you that scams that are reported to the Better Business Bureau and the Scam Tracker often also go to the Attorney General's office. We work with the Attorney General's office and Kathy and their team there on a regular basis, trying to educate the public and combat these scams. So please report to the Scam Tracker and to the Attorney General's office.
Thank you for sharing that, Troy. And just so everyone is aware, we are open for business. BBB wants to help. Eastern Michigan BBB and Western Michigan BBB is open. If you have any questions about a scam or feel that you or you know someone who has fallen victim from a scam and you need more information, please give BBB a phone call. We're happy to help. We look to be a resource during this time. We have a great deal of information up on our site, especially related to COVID-19 right now. Again, if you can't find what you're looking for, feel free to give us a phone call and we will help. Here's just a couple links that we have. If you want to take a moment to write anything down or take a picture, again, this is all great information and can all be found on our site as well.
And this will also be shared out after the webinar, so you don't need to worry if you miss something. We're going to share this out at the end as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
And then there's some government resources as well. Kathy, do you want to talk about some of the Attorney General resources that are on here that people will want to know about? And I think Kathy is muted. The resources we have on here as we try to get Kathy back include the Attorney General's office, where to report scams, the link there at the Attorney General's office, along with the phone number where you can report scams, the Federal Trade Commission, the IRS, especially when it comes to stimulus check payments. Check at irs.gov, go directly to the website there. Also the Michigan Treasury Department for your state and your state tax returns. And then the Attorney General's office has created a scam alert of the day, mi.gov/consumer protection. So lots of resources for consumers there as well. If you have any questions, we're happy to take any questions from you. Go ahead and type them into the chat. While we do that, while we wait to see if there's any questions that come up, I will say I appreciate everybody coming and doing this. Scams really are a problem going forward. We see a lot of them. The Better Business Bureau's goal is to be all about trust. And when scammers take advantage of people, they lose trust in the marketplace and in those relationships. So finding a way to combat these scams and to educate the public is key in promoting marketplace trust and helping consumers find trustworthy places to spend their money. It doesn't look like we have any questions right now, so we'll probably wrap this up. Thank you for attending to the webinar. I appreciate your time, and if you do have any questions at all for the Attorney General's office, the Better Business Bureau of Eastern or Western Michigan, please reach out to us. We are here to help. Thank you so much and have a great day.